Welcome, welcome. Okay, that's enough. Many of the examples in this video are metaphors. This video is not about cars, it is about people. Human beings are complicated, different backgrounds, different experiences, different opportunities, different struggles. The purpose of this video is not to judge anyone's journey. The purpose is to help people understand their own vehicle better because you get better the better you understand your own vehicle, the easier it becomes to stop obsessing over everyone else's. Every human life is a vehicle traveling a road. The road begins somewhere. That is why throughout history people have always mentioned where someone came from, not because geography determines destiny, but because starting points matter. A child born in a wealthy suburb begins the road differently than a child born in poverty. A child born in stability begins differently than a child born into chaos. A child born into literacy begins differently than a child born into financial literacy. Being born around entrepreneurs begins differently than someone born around addiction. Same country, different road, same city, different road, same neighborhood, different road, sometimes the same house, different road. This is why lump thinking creates confusion. People see someone's destination and forget their starting point. Philosophers have wrestled with this for thousands of years, and we've been wrestling with it anyways. The ancient Stoics understood that people control very little about where they begin, but they control far more than they realize about where they go. The vehicle is not responsible for where it was manufactured, but eventually it becomes responsible for how it was maintained. Did I skip two slides? No. Anyways, every vehicle comes off the assembly line differently. Childhood is the factory. Many people assume childhood is safe. Statistics say otherwise. Children are among the most vulnerable groups on earth. Neglect, abuse, poverty, violence, instability, addiction in the home, absence of guidance, absence of love, absence of emotional safety. Many adults spend decades trying to understand why their vehicle pulls to one side without realizing the alignment issue started years ago. Psychology calls this conditioning. Many behaviors people call personality are actually adaptations. The people pleaser, the rescuer, the perfectionist, the angry person, the chronic victim, the workaholic, the avoided person, the attention seeker. Many are survival responses that became permanent driving habits. I used to have, let me see, out of that one, two, three, four and a half. I had four and a half of those. You guess which one? The outside does not match the engine. One of the greatest mistakes society makes is judging vehicles from the outside. Beautiful paint, broken transmission, luxury interior, engine failure, custom rims, no oil, or like we say out here, Earl, no Earl. I once watched a coworker buy a beautiful Land Rover from an auction. The vehicle looked incredible when it worked. The electrical problems eventually became so expensive that it made less sense fixing it and more sense to sell it. The vehicle looked rich, the vehicle behaved poor. Human beings are exactly the same. Some people look successful and are drowning. Some people look average and are thriving. Some people appear happy and are depressed. Some people appear quiet and are at peace. Some people appear wealthy and are financially trapped. The dashboard is not the engine. The appearance is not reality. And social media, the world's biggest billboard. Imagine driving down the highway. Every second there are flashing lights, luxury vehicles, success stories, perfect relationships, perfect vacations, bodies, businesses, lives. That is social media. A giant digital billboard competing for your attention. Many people have become so distracted by the signs that they stop driving. They compare, scroll, judge, consume, repeat. Years pass. The vehicle never moves. Others try driving while staring at the billboards. They crash. Depression, addiction, financial disaster, relationship chaos, burnout, anxiety. The billboard was never meant to replace the road. Not to mention social media and even just the like internet sites that are known to have a lot of users have become the beach at a resort. You think you about to go look at the water, you think you about to take in all of the ambience and be a part of the view in your own way, and then you have all these panhandlers that you never seen on any content. That's exactly what happens on the internet. People think that they come in to be entertained, or a person who uses their phone out of boredom may think that they're coming to be entertained. But before you get to that entertainment and while you're enjoying that entertainment, you're like overfed a bunch of advertisements. And not to mention, not only do you have advertisements navigating the internet, now when you are watching content of actual people or even on streaming services, you have ads in between ads. So it's really like it's really psychologically draining for people to consume. Like when you're using the internet, you have to have full intentions. You have to have a stop and a starting point. If you don't have a stop and a starting point, people can take you however far they want to take you. That is why people can open their phone for one thing. They might have got a notification and they won't check their messages, but then you end up doom scrolling for however whoever knows how long. And I understand that it's something to feel guilty about. It's something that other people make people feel guilty about. I've mentioned it, but I only mention it in the context of endangering other people and in the context of bringing awareness to the long term effects. Because throughout my life, I've always seen people say, "Why didn't anybody tell me?" So I'm here to tell you the stuff that people should have told you. But I understand that telling people stuff is not going to make the light bulb go off. You have to create your own electrical connection in your own body to connect to your light bulb. I can't do that for you. I can give you examples and relatability and more realistic examples of living so you're not feeling pressure like when you watching content creators who constantly flaunt wealth in your face, constantly calling you lazy, constantly calling you stupid, and all of these other things. Some people may be lazy, some people may be stupid, but from my point of view, a lot of this is a manipulation, and it's so annoying because many people do not realize the levels to manipulation. It's not just the internet. Is all of the manipulators work together, and they all use the same weaknesses: unawareness, trauma, loneliness, confusion, lack of knowledge. So they fill in the blanks with false knowledge that gets you to give them the money and in whatever way they want. And now, over 2,000 years ago, Plato described people trapped in a cave watching shadows. They mistook shadows for reality. Social media is often a digital cave. People mistake curated moments for complete lives. People mistake content for wisdom. People mistake popularity for truth, or confidence for competence. Some people are incompetent. Matter of fact, I'm alarmed at the large channels that perpetuate the gender wars, that perpetuate all of these different negative stereotypes from their own disappointments in life. And what I find is that a lot of people who complain about connections with other people in toxic manners, they typically are not able to cultivate healthy relationships in real life. Think about a lot of these content creators y'all watch, like especially the manosphere. These people barely can form sentences. They read the scripts and they still stuttering. Imagine that in a relationship. Or look at how a comment can make them crash out from a complete stranger. Imagine that in a friendship. These people are unfit and they basically are praising unfit behaviors and creating a community of unfit people who will never grow out of their ways. And instead of growing and healthily changing, they are using these people for their views, for their money, and for the power that they feel from having these people follow them. And these people lives, when these people are doing different things in real life, these content creators are not bonding these men out who going to jail for abusing women or abusing children. To be honest, majority of these manosphere content creators are down low. I'm not even making no allegations, no DL whisperer or nothing like that. It's very obvious because with social media and with social media fame, In order to do that, you have to have a certain type of mental state. And also, when people are deceptive, you have to be questioning what their crowd is. Like, for example, when you have situations where people use congregations for the women to access to the women or access to children, they pull them in. They make a congregation to pull them in. So you have to ask yourself, what do these manosphere men gain out of having all of these men around them? And also, so anyways, that may be a video I may never make because I really don't care that much. That stuff society care about. I've been peeped the game, but I can't believe they turned my emoji into whatever that is. A highlight reel is not a life. Anyways, the passengers you carry. Some people spend their entire lives driving everyone else. They become unpaid chauffeurs. No gas money, no appreciation, no maintenance, no respect, only expectations. Psychology calls this codependency, the belief that your value comes from solving everyone else's problems. The problem? Passengers rarely suffer the consequences. The driver does. The passenger leaves. The driver pays the repair bill. The driver pays the insurance. The driver pays the emotional costs. Helping people is noble. Becoming responsible adults who refuse responsibility is self-destruction. And you can't care about someone if you feel like helping them was good enough, but you know that they can't survive on their own. And that's what happens, is that people will help for the image, or some people may help for leverage. And then you have other people who live dirty lives and they do public acts of kindness to kind of wash away their sins because they know that their background is dirty, and whenever it come out to the public, they can say, "Oh well, he helped feed the children." Like, and the analogy is so deep in this video that you may forget I'm talking about actual connections, even though cars, vehicles, I don't know. Many people are exhausted emotionally, financially. Oh, and also for the people who listening, this is section 6, driving on fumes. Many people are exhausted emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, yet they continue driving. No rest, no reflection, no maintenance, no repair, no support. Then they act shocked when the breakdown happens. Burnout is weakness. Burnout is usually deferred maintenance. Your body keeps record. Your mind keeps records. Your nervous system keeps records. Everything eventually sends a bill. Section 7, the minor mechanics of society. Also, too, I've been called Shannon Sharp, peep Shannon Sharp years ago, but it's like I learned that when it comes to seeing things in people, you have to let other people see it. I'm never gonna be this person trying to drive y'all away from people. Y'all have free will. And actually, some people may not be there for advice. Some people find it entertaining. Like for me, I may watch some wild content because it's funny to me. Like that's it. I don't really care about them people, and I make sure not to subscribe to them because I don't want the algorithm thinking that I support them the way they keep flooding videos and all of that. Even though the algorithm gonna think what it want. My algorithm actually hates me because I don't have a clear pattern. So if you see my home screen, it looked like the brand new screen when you first sign in. It don't look like something where you're gonna see particular videos. The only thing that really show up a lot for me is more so philosophy, astronomy, science discoveries, and things like that. And then every now and then they'll have random music videos. Like for people who like dancing music, this song is ratchet as hell, but the Down to My Booty Braid song, I feel like if people can enjoy that song, just enjoy it. Like you don't gotta twerk and make videos and nothing like that. If you twerk in private. That is your privacy. And it's also good exercise too if you do it right. Some mechanics help. Some mechanics sell fear. Some mechanics create dependence. The same thing happens with self-help. Influencers, gurus. I just thought about 3 different people who stole people ideas and wrote books about it. The books were good, but unfortunately it was stolen. But if y'all have an Ollie's in y'all area, a lot of those books are like $5 there, no matter what the original price is. Or Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree, the book section always looks like a hurricane and a tornado had a threesome with a tsunami. And I have the patience to look and find the books, but I don't blame people if they don't because it looks a mess. Relationship coaches, finance experts, political commentators, lifestyle creators. Many are helping. Many are selling emotional gasoline. They need your vehicle broken because fixing it will reduce demand. A healed person is harder to manipulate. A financial literate person is harder to exploit. A self aware person is harder to shame. A fulfilled person buys fewer emotional solutions. And also, you can notice how a lot of the self help gurus they stick to one topic. Like for me, I have a foundation of what I stick to, but I will go anywhere if it comes to spreading awareness about anything. Granted, I do understand systems and how systems work, so I won't go against the government on here because I'm not about to die for spreading the message. Like I still have a bunch of food I want to try and places I want to go, but when you understand the system, you won't even have to speak on certain things. And that's why I kind of pedal pattern recognition because once you develop that and you get a healthy pattern recognition, it's no limits to what you will notice. However, the urge to tell people, it sounds ludicrous, but you got to stop telling people stuff, even people because if you know them at a certain level, like say for instance, if you and someone bonded over like one particular activity, maybe outings or maybe gossip or maybe certain things, that person is not going to understand you wanting to save, or that person is not going to understand you wanting to change your life around, especially if they're not, because people only think about what they can do. They project their reality to other people. So when you come to someone with something that's not a part of their reality, they typically will question it. And then when people are small minded, they will tell you all of the negatives of it, especially if they small minded and they think they know what it is because they seen somebody talk about it. So save yourself the frustration, build a relationship with yourself. That is why life is hard for people, because the relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you will ever have. It dictates the relationships on the outside. It's basically setting rules on a chalkboard. Like your relationship with yourself tells you that you don't like standing in long lines. Your relationship with yourself tells you that you don't like talking on the phone with the people in your life because, like mine, they talk in the background. It's always hold on. It's always clicking over. Some people want to merge people. People yelling in the background. They calling you while they're in the middle of doing stuff. So until I made that rule with myself, that was what my life was not really filled with, but endured it a lot because the people with bad habits are the ones who want to talk the most. The people with bad money management are the ones who always want to spend money. So once I started setting rules in my life, I didn't even have to fight to tell myself this person is wrong for you or that person is wrong for you. Once them rules was ingrained in here, if you can't see, I'm pointing at my big ass head right now, my body started rejecting stuff. Like it's actually spooky because in the past of having to leave behind toxic situations, it took a whole 12-step recovery program. I had to grieve the relationship first. I had to try a million times to get this person to see where we were disconnecting at. And that the fact that I wanted to continue our connection is just that these different things were becoming a conflict of interest. But baby, once I set them rules in tow, baby, I'm people. It ain't even that people gotta go. They don't never land as far as those with those kinds of behaviors, because those behaviors, my system automatically pick it up without me consciously doing it, and that's the importance of people having communication with yourself. A lot of these outward things that you're tired of people doing and being involved in, you have to come to an agreement with yourself and also see who you really are. Sometimes we can be the chain that's keeping us in these situations. It may be because with behaviors, when you don't have self-awareness, everything is a blind spot for you. But when you develop self-awareness, you start to lessen the blind spots and you start to see it. Because if you dealing with people and you thinking you move in a certain way, but you noticing that people keep reacting the same way, even though it's different people, that's a opportunity to see that there is a blind spot. And a lot of people who don't have relationships with themselves, they don't know their blind spots. That's why these relationship content people are dangerous, because they peddling the idea of what you need to look for and chasing all of this other stuff. All of that stuff is a waste if you're not dealing with what's on the inside. That is why people are able to end up in abusive relationships and they don't understand why. But back to the lesson. Prosperity is not money. Money can contribute to prosperity, but prosperity is larger. Prosperity is health, peace, purpose, competence, relationships, adaptability, knowledge, time. A person making $60,000 with peace may be wealthier than a person making $250,000 with chaos. Like the people offshore who unalive themselves after the many layoffs that they've had because these people lives were based on being wealthy. They had to constantly pay the wealth tax, which is basically keeping the newest things, maintaining the things they do have, keeping their cell phone a scene, just doing whatever. And that stuff is expensive. And these people are not happy. It's different if these people were actually happy. These people are the ones who end up with addictions because the all of the stuff didn't save them. And I get that people with financial struggles see it differently because money would clear your struggles up. That's not taken away from that. But having excess money is not the flex that people think it is. It's fun for a little while, but we have something in our brains where when we get stuff after so long, if we don't consciously keep repeating gratitude, we lose interest in it. Many people are trying to upgrade the paint while neglecting the engine. Real prosperity begins with maintenance, not appearance. The luxury trap. Luxury itself is not the problem. Shit. Attachment is. I mean, but what is luxury? What is really luxury anymore? Like things can brand themselves as luxury. Anyone can be a luxury brand. I can put a gold wrap around this and call this luxury water. And if I put it on the internet, somebody's gonna buy it. Because yes, again, people project their identity and their thoughts that, oh, that sounds stupid, or oh, they must think we stupid. They don't think you stupid. They know that there's a bunch of idiots out there that fall for anything. That's what you have to realize about a lot of the things that you see in the world, in politics, in the government, with musicians, with concert ticket prices, with all of that. The average person may feel like, oh, that doesn't make sense, but there are a lot of people that do whatever just to be in the moment. Like the internet is showing it now. And while yes, it may be affecting the younger generations, but people who was over 25 when social media hit, the internet is only showing who they always been. A lot of families have been dysfunctional, bad with money, competing with each other, mama competing with daughter, daddy jealous of the son, just all types of stuff. And it trickled out into the real world. That's why a lot of people live in competition because they grew up in competition. These habits didn't just fall out the air. People have built these habits for years and they never looked at themselves to realize, okay, I need to change this. Or if competition is an advantage I have, let me make it healthy. Let me not be that way with people I'm supposed to love. Let me only use that in the workplace when I'm trying to get a promotion. Let me use that if I'm trying to compete with somebody for who could get the most donations. People have a lot of good qualities that can be used for success, but they're using it in relationships that's supposed to be organic. They're using it in environments that's supposed to be safe space. There shouldn't be no manipulation in a safe space. Many people buy symbols, very few buy solutions. Luxury can convince someone that status equals fulfillment. It doesn't. The luxury industry often sells emotion, recognition, importance, exclusivity, validation. The purchase is rarely about the product, it is often about the feeling. Psychologists call this symbolic consumption. People buy identities, not objects. That is why the void remains after the purchase. The object was never the problem, the emptiness was. There is still roll ahead. Also, that's the whole reason for happy hour. Happy hour was because of the fact that they know people have stressful jobs and that people need a relief and that alcohol is addictive. I mean, I've attended many happy hours during my drinking years, but it's still the creation of it is what it is. It doesn't make people participating in it any less, and it doesn't make the people who created it any more. But money, make a lot of money. One of the saddest things I see is people grieving lost time. Some become so focused on what could have been that they stop seeing what still can be. The tears become cataracts. The regret becomes blindness. The destination may be delayed. Many people wait. Many people who think they failed simply took a longer route. Some of your greatest contributions may have occurred in vehicles you helped push. Some people are alive because you were kind. Some people change because of your words. Some people survive because you listen. Not every meaningful journey appears on a scoreboard. Final philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should focus on the work immediately in front of us, not the entire future, not the entire road, the next mile, the next turn, the next repair, the next decision. Life becomes overwhelming when we attempt to drive all 80 years at once. Drive today's road, maintain today's lesson, but also do keep the future in mind as well, especially when it comes to consequences, because people do things in the moment, like how people condone emotionally attacking people when you emotional, but you're attacking them for something they did in the moment. But do you want that to be something that you got to deal with for 20 years when that person gonna be gone, either because you killed them or because you harmed them and now you in jail or whatever. Like, you're basically signing a loan agreement on your future time for something that you're reacting to right now. And emotions, when we within the first 20 seconds of emotions, if we ignore it, we can actually get over it. But when we keep reminding ourselves and refueling the fire, then it just burns everything down. So in closing, get your vehicle in order, check under the hood, examine your passengers, change your oil, rotate your tires, watch your mirrors, learn your road, ignore unnecessary traffic, and remember, the goal was never to have the most impressive vehicle. The goal was to arrive at your destination with enough fuel left to help someone else find theirs. Maybe first of all, when it comes to help, help is when you are able to be helped. Nonprofit organizations get money from other people and government grants to help people. There may be some, but many of them do not use money out of their own pocket immediately. So it's donations, it's galas, it's all types of things. So when you feel like you're helpful to people, it's not helpful if you self-sacrificing, because in the long term you're going to have resentment when you look and feel like you didn't make it in life, and you look at all of the people you helped who more than likely not going to help or barely reciprocate, or some of them like they don't even know you. Like, I remember on social media when Twitter was new. I started in 2008 and deleted it a year or so ago. But in like I was seeing a lot of people who were regular and had low self-esteem and things like that. And it's a lot of people. This is my first time mentioning this on any video. I think I maybe if I did in the past, baby, that's an old me. This is a new body. But I remember people who were low self-esteem, shy, different things like that. I helped a lot of people get out their shell because I was one of the first few people on Twitter that had 1,000 followers, which that was a lot back then. So I had a lot of traffic on my channel, and I would give a lot of insight to people. And baby, when I tell you, some of them people had then went to different cities, started working on their body, and started getting new attention. And when I tell you, you couldn't tell them nothing. It was like stranger danger. Like, they act like they didn't know you, and you was the person who seen them when they were small. And these people ran to be around the same people that used to reject them, the same people that used to make them feel less. And for me, younger me used to be shocked at that because that was new to me. I hadn't really experienced that in life. I only heard about it in movies and music and things like that. To that extent, like, I've had people help and not appreciate, but never a complete 180 in their life, and then they just completely act like that person that they were never existed. But the irony is that as years went on, I would see that many of the people, and even people I didn't help, who ran to these groups of people once they started feeling like they were on or that they could fit in, it would always end in drama, exposes, sleeping with each other lovers, fighting, getting jumped on trips, stealing money, like all types of stuff. So it made me actually realize, if I would have got what I wanted and kept up with these people and they kept in touch with me, I possibly could have been pulled in that. So in that moment, in the present, it hurt, but in the future, I won. I win all of the time, really. I win in the present and the future, but that's why I think one of the worst decisions anyone can make, business, person, whoever, in life, is to ever go against me. You can leave me alone, and I recommend that. Like, just leave me alone. Don't talk about me no more. You could block me, do whatever. You ain't even got to announce it. Honestly, you don't even got to block me, because if you stop reaching out, I will too. Twin, you know. So we twins. But when it comes to directly coming at me, that's the worst decision people make, and it's like when they make it and they realize it, it's always so funny to me. And I think people, instead of wanting to be helpful while you building yourself up now, your goal need to be to become dangerous. And not the dangerous y'all be thinking of with the Glocks and lighting up the blocks and whooping people out their socks. I'm talking about dangerous to where you're poised. You listen very carefully. Your words are ordered. When you have a need of something, you're able to advocate for yourself without yelling, without getting into it with people. Learning the chain of command when you're dealing with entities. If you're dealing with a business, knowing the chain of command of who to report to, knowing outside resources in case that business is completely corrupt, and knowing the FCC, the FTC, your attorney general. Know these different things, because when you start playing them kind of games, you don't get played with. Don't You'll get played with in the beginning when a person sizes you up. They'll stereotype you. They'll assume if you look a certain way that maybe your intelligence is limited to that certain group, but it's not what people think about you. It's not your job to make everyone know who you really are or to think what you think about yourself. It's your job to grow in this life. It's your job to experience love safely. It's your job to experience well, it ain't your job. It's going to happen anyway. It's your job to manage loss in a healthy manner. Don't let your pain make somebody else rich. When people fall to addiction, which is unfortunate and is scientifically considered an illness, somebody is making money off of them. Multiple people may be making money off of them. And the scary part is that addiction does not look like it used to look to people when you're a child. You think addiction is the person who looks like they're addicted. Addiction is what we're dealing with now with cell phones. Addiction is shopping addictions, but shopping addictions I don't think is really shopping addictions. I think it's really a dopamine addiction. But hey, who am I? But that's your job in life. Your job in life also is to not let yourself be obligated to people who constantly are harming you, because regardless, we get mixed up thinking that because things ain't physical that it doesn't hurt us, but mental and emotional damage is probably more dangerous than physical damage, because at least with physical damage you can see the wound, you can treat the wound, you can protect the wound. But with emotional and mental damage, you don't see those wounds, you especially if you unaware. And the way society has romanticized all of the different side effects of these ailments, people may think, oh, I'm feeling down, that mean I need to go out. Oh, I'm feeling down, oh, that mean I need to go spending. Like, no, because we need to figure out why you feeling down. Where did it come from? Is this something that's repeated? Is this a situation that we need to be leaving? Because that needs to be our question. That's why a lot of people, when I grew up, who already had the stuff I'm talking about now, the people I was raised around called them weird. The cousin who went started a business and doing good and have a beautiful family, oh, they act funny. Oh, they don't mess with the family. What, you mean the family who gossip all of the time, who borrow, beg, and bitch about each other all of the time? The ones who've shared men before, the ones whose children have had stuff happen to them and they told the children they lying? I don't blame them. So, and a lot of the times you may have to go through the grieving process, because keeping it a buck, I see a lot of people who are rockets ready to shoot off into success, but they chain to their family. And some people will die chained to their family. That's why you have people that get into certain ages and realize all of the stuff they let go for people. And I'm the I will say that for people who have young kids, you're not included, because no. But people who older with grown children, or people who grown children with grown parents, grown parents, immature parents, they ain't grown, but a lot that happens a lot in those situations. Or even sometimes if you invest in a person thinking that you could build the person up, maybe maybe romantic, it might be friendship, or it might just be a person you saw that needed help, and you envision who they was going to be in the future, and you become hyper fixated on making that a reality. only to realize that yes, that was a possibility in the multiverse, but in this current reality, in the current present, that person is not that. They're not capable of that. They don't have the tools of that. And not to mention, the more we help people, the more we program them to not seek it out on their own. Their brain thinks asking is the seeking. No, they don't seek solutions. And you come across people who create the solutions and always get help. It's insane. But this is the shortest video I've made so far, so I'll leave it at that. Y'all have a great day, whatever day of the week it is, because I can't assume that people see this the day I posted it. I'm a flop channel. Y'all have a great day.